Hi, my name is Isabell Diekmann and I'm postdoc in the project area Figures of Migration. Figures of migration refer to people, groups, behaviors and relationships between individuals, so-called figurations. We want to understand which differentiations and categorizations are used, how certain figures are created and what consequences this has. For instance, there were times in Germany when we spoke a lot about so-called guest workers, and then maybe we spoke about Turks, meaning to focus more on nationalities as a line of differentiation. Today we talk a lot about migrants, which semantically highlights the migration experience as such instead of, for instance, nationality, even though this term might evoke fewer associations with Austrians than, for example, let's say with Syrians. We also often see conflations, such as in the context of religion, when migrants and Muslims are equated, or when it is suggested that being German and being Muslim are in opposition to each other, as if there were no overlaps. Focusing on figures is important to understand, for example, which characteristics we use to structure our environment or to understand so-called othering processes and power relations. Research questions related to figures of migration might include questions of belonging, such as who belongs or who does not belong, or who is made foreign and who isn't. These questions often focus on social in- and exclusions. The sub-projects offered diverse perspectives on figures of migration. On the one hand, because many different disciplines are represented, such as social psychology, sociology, and history. On the other hand, because we look at different areas, such as labor migration, refugees, discrimination, or othering. We also examine how and by whom discourses are influenced. So, who are the so-called co-producers of knowledge? Meaning, who creates or transforms certain figures of migration? This can, for example, be activists. A reflexive approach in this context means, for instance, to not understand the constitution of groups as naturally given, but instead as socially constructed. This can mean, for instance, to ask who is actually perceived and treated as migrant or as the other, and what does this mean, for instance, in terms of belonging, hierarchies, and privileges.